Hi, good afternoon again. If you're joining us on the live on Facebook or on YouTube, thanks for joining us again. We're with grade 6 to 7 class. We're looking at English today. And in the next 30 minutes, you're going to have math session. And today we're going to be looking at paragraph writing. But first, we have a newcomer with us on the show. And I would like her to introduce herself to you so you'll know a little bit more about her and some things that she likes to do. Go ahead.
Hi, my name is Azaria. I like swimming, dancing, and art.
Definitely, thank you. So she likes art, swimming, and dancing. So you can probably show me what you can draw later, right? All right. So today with paragraph writing, I'm just going to refresh what we did last week, and we're going to start talking about paragraphs. So last week we did sentences, Azaria, and we looked at clauses. So we look at the different parts of sentences and we look at what makes it a sentence. So can you just tell me what you think makes up a sentence? So what do we put together to make a sentence? What are those little pieces called? Words, right? Exactly. So we put together words to make sentences. And if we put together sentences, what do we get?
Sentences, paragraphs.
Good, paragraphs. But when we're putting together sentences to make a paragraph, can we put together any random set of sentences?
No.
Like, let's say I'm talking about football and then I switch to swimming and then I come back to playing cricket and then I started talking about you liking to swim and then I go to let's say you have a brother, what your brother likes to do, and then I start talking about what your grandfather used to do when he was little. Will all of that make a sentence, make a paragraph if I put all those sentences together?
No.
It's confusing, right?
Yeah.
So for us to have a paragraph, the sentences must be what?
It must be similar.
Good, they must be similar. They must be talking about the same thing, right?
Yeah.
For example, I can have an entire essay be written about, let's say, sports, because you like sports, right? Let's say we have an entire essay about sports. It can be just about football, but are there different things we can talk about football in this essay? Maybe the first one can be, what is football? So that's like a definition of it. That's one paragraph. The other paragraph can be about what? Football is a game, and for you to play the game, you must follow the instructions or the rules. So maybe the next paragraph can be about the rules of the game. Maybe the third paragraph can be about why people play the game, because some people play the game as fun. For some people, they play the game because they get money from it, right? That's their job. And some people like to play football because it's a form of exercise for them. So if we have a story written, or let's say an essay written, or a newspaper article, for example, we have how many paragraphs there? The first one is about the definition of the game, what is football. The next one is the rules of the game, and the third is why people play the sport, right? So we got 3 different paragraphs based on the same topic. So it can happen like that as well. On screen, what are you seeing there? I'm not sure if those joining us on the live can see it properly, but what are you seeing on the screen there? What's that showing there? A watermelon, right? It's a slice of watermelon. Does it look juicy?
Yeah.
When last did you had a watermelon or a slice of watermelon?
Last year.
Last year. It's a very long time. Do you like it?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's juicy?
It's juicy. Some parts are sweet.
Sometimes
Some parts are sour.
Good.
Some parts are just watermelon.
Yeah. And the closer you go down to the end of the green part, the white part doesn't have any taste, right? So just the pink reddish part would have a very nice juicy taste. Good. So here I have some written work on the board, as you can see. A paragraph is made up of a group of sentences, at least 3, about a related topic. So you were correct when you said they all have to be similar, right? Similar to how sentences need a subject, so sentences have to talk about something, right? Paragraphs require a thesis statement that guides the development of the paragraph. So there is one sentence in a paragraph that is like the leader of all the other sentences. and all the other sentences support what the leader says. Or in this case, what's the special word we call it? I'm gonna write on the board. Thesis statement. So that's the main sentence in the paragraph, and all the other sentences would support what the thesis statement say. Think you can remember this word? Thesis statement. Can you remember main? So if we say thesis statement, we mean the main sentence. Which one can you remember? You can remember one of them? You can remember this one.
Yeah.
That's all right. So we have the thesis statement or we have the main sentence. Either one would be okay. For example, if I say I love watermelons, that's one sentence, right? So if we have that one sentence saying I love watermelons, then all the other sentences will have to do what?
Something similar.
Something similar. So if I say I love watermelons and my next sentence is I don't like watermelons because of what? Do you think that suits what I said first? No. So if I say I love watermelons, maybe now I have to say why I love it, right? And then it can probably make sense. So I'm going to carry this up on the board for us and erase what I wrote there earlier because it's kind of blocking what we had earlier. Good. So if I say I love watermelons as my first sentence, then it is expected that my following two sentences support this statement. I can now say they are sweet and juicy. Additionally, they have a high water content, so I can quench my thirst quickly with a slice of watermelon. So how many sentences do we have there? We got this one here first. I love watermelons. That's sentence 1. They're sweet and juicy, sentence 2. Additionally, they have a high water content, so I can quench my thirst quickly with a slice of watermelon, sentence 3. I can then continue this paragraph with saying this explains why distance athletes, let's see what it says here. Distant athletes are given slices of watermelon when they are running a race. So this is my final sentence, my fourth sentence. Remember our main sentence was what? I love watermelons. That's what we started with. So I want you to look at this here. I love watermelons as the main sentence. Does this sentence here support what we said there? I love watermelons. Does this support that? That's supposed to be 1L, sorry. Does this support that? Does this tell us why you love watermelons?
No.
It doesn't, right? So do you think this is a sentence we should include in our paragraph? Probably not. Let's look at the other two now. The second sentence that we had, we're gonna work our way back to the start there. They are sweet and juicy. Do you think that supports our first statement, I love watermelons? Yeah, because it gives us a reason why you love watermelons, right? It's sweet and it's juicy. Additionally, they have a high water content, so I can quench my thirst quickly with a slice of watermelon. Does that support this statement here, I love watermelons? Yeah. So I love it because it quenches my thirst quickly, basically, right? Good. So it was just the last sentence that didn't really match what we were trying to say. This explains why distance athletes are given slices of watermelon when they're running a race. So all the time we're talking about reasons why I love watermelons. Is this sentence here talking about what you love? No, it's talking about distance athletes. So you're switching from topic to topic. So this is one of the reasons why that sentence will not work, because it doesn't match what we're talking about. If we want, we can have another paragraph develop about why athletes would use watermelons, right? But it can't be this one here. Good. So what I would like you to do at this point now is to I want you to edit this sentence here. So I want you to make it so that it fits what we were saying earlier. Remember you say you like swimming? So basically you're an athlete too, right? Even if you're not like a professional athlete, you're like an amateur athlete, so that still counts. Good. So this sentence here, I'm going to write, sure thing. I'm going to write the edited examples here on the board, and we will work with that. Hi, good afternoon, girls. How are you doing? Thank you so much for coming. I thought I was going to miss you this afternoon. So on screen today, we also have Tiana and Alicia with us. Say hi. Good. So they came a bit late, but we're still happy to have them. And we were talking about watermelons. Do you girls like watermelons? Yeah? You don't like watermelons? Why not?
Because like the watery taste.
It's too watery? Yeah, sometimes it can be too watery and tasteless sometimes, right? What about you? You like them? Why do you like them?
Because it just tastes good.
They taste good and juicy, right? I like when it's chilled. So you buy it, you cut it up, you put it in the fridge. Or sometimes I pop it in the freezer and I just eat it like that. And it's really, really refreshing. So what we were doing today is that we were talking about reasons why I love watermelons, and we were putting together sentences, right? Because remember last week we did sentences? So this week we're putting those sentences together, and when you put sentences together about a related topic, it's called the girls who just came in, what is it called? All right. Your faces look a bit confused, so I'll take you to the top. When we put sentences together that are related, it's called a paragraph. So we're going to review some points we made earlier just for your memory, because we don't want you to be lost, right? So we said here that the main sentence in a paragraph is called Zaira, can you tell us what it's called?
Main.
Good. It's called a main sentence or statement, but it is also called a thesis statement. Good. So think of a house. For you to have a house, you have to have a foundation, right? The house needs to stand up on something. So think of the thesis statement and think of the main sentence as the foundation for your paragraph. So every other sentence in that paragraph has to support the main sentence. It has to support the thesis statement. These are the same. This is just a simpler word or phrase for it, right? Yeah. So we're talking about this one here. We'll go over that again. And we were talking about one of the sentences here that does not match the other sentences. So I'm going to read it here. So this is what we had earlier. Can you guys read that, please? I love watermelons.
I love watermelons. They are sweet and juicy. Additionally, they have a high water content, so I quench my thirst quickly with a slice of watermelon. This
Explains why distance athletes are given slices of watermelon when they are running a race. Good. So remember, our main sentence is I love watermelons, correct? So all the other sentences are supposed to support this. So Azaria, right? Azaria. Can you tell your classmates which one of the sentences does not match the others?
The last sentence.
The last sentence. And why? Why doesn't it match this paragraph here?
Because it's talking about distant athletes.
Good. It's talking about distance athletes. And the thesis statement or the main sentence was talking about reasons why I love watermelons. So the task now that you got help, the task now is this here. I'm just going to the first one. What is the thesis statement in the paragraph? What do I have written over there? Main sentence. The main sentence is the thesis statement. The second question, do you think that all of the sentences support the thesis statement? So that's the one you just answered, right? And you said why. So we have to edit that last sentence. And we're going to use these lines here to write in our new sentence. So can you remember the sentence? This explains why distance athletes are given slices of watermelon when they are running a race. So we need to change that sentence up to match or to support the statement, I love watermelons. So can you girls help me to write that one here? Yeah? All right, how can we change that? What can we say? I'm going to write what you're saying.
This is why I am given juicy watermelons when I run.
Okay. This is why we can probably say I love. Because remember, we want to match it to the first sentence, right? This is why I love when I am given Juicy, juicy watermelon when I, good. Or we can say when I run a race. Good. So now, does it match our original sentence? Does it give us a reason why I love watermelons? It does. So you get a star for that, right? So you basically helped me fix my mistake that I made up there earlier, right? So give yourselves a little clap, a silent clap. Good. So the other task to do today is, it's basically homework to an extent. Now, obviously, I wouldn't be there to know whether you do your homework or not, right? But we can do a bit of this in class because we still have some time. And it says here, what's the task?
Select one fruit that you like. Write one paragraph saying why you like the fruit, and another paragraph stating all the health benefits of the fruit.
Good, thank you. So you're selecting one fruit that you like. So I chose the fruit just now, watermelons. And now it's your turn to choose. What will be your fruit?
A pineapple.
Pineapples, lovely. What's yours?
Apples.
Apples and bananas. So you have your three fruits there that you like, and you're writing one paragraph saying why you like the fruit and another paragraph stating all the health benefits of the fruit. So do you notice we're talking about two paragraphs based on one topic? So both will be about bananas, but what will make these two different? The first one will be why you like the fruit. So you could talk about maybe the texture, maybe you could talk about the taste and so forth. And in the second paragraph, you're stating all the health benefits of the fruit. So maybe those of you who are joining us on the live, you can also start working on this homework, because one going doesn't mean that it's done. You always have to review your work and check to see that everything is okay. So we're going to try writing on the board for this one here. We're going to leave that up there, and we're going to use this other side of the board to get things done. So I need a volunteer. And I'm going to call you by the fruit names that you chose, right? So somebody chose pineapple, somebody chose apple, and somebody chose bananas. So who's going to volunteer? We're going to write a paragraph about your fruit. If you don't choose, I choose you. All right, Alicia, you want us to do bananas?
I love bananas because of
All right, let's stick a pin there. Bananas. Bananas. Did I spell it correct? Looks wrong. All right. Bananas. All right, good. I love
bananas because of the sweet taste.
Sorry, common being here. Bananas because
Of the sweet taste it gives me.
of the sweet taste.
It gives me.
All right, we'll put a full stop there. Uh-huh.
It has.
You want to say it has a soft texture? Because when you bite into it, it's soft, right? It has a soft texture that melts. We can say melts. And since you're the one talking, we gotta say melts in my mouth. Good. Next sentence. Do you like to mix it with anything else, like maybe sugar, milk, or so forth?
A milkshake.
In a milkshake. Okay, great. I especially, especially, I especially like to make milkshakes with it. Uh-huh. Good. And one more sentence. So we talked about the sweet taste. We talked about the texture. We talked about what you like to make with it. Can you eat it with something else too? Because this one you made it into a milkshake. Can you banana muffins, pancakes, or so forth?
A fruit bowl.
You fry them?
A fruit bowl.
A fruit bowl. Oh, so you mix it with other fruits as well. Okay. So we're gonna use this word here. Additionally, I can make a fruit bowl with it, and it will taste yummy. I just added in a few more letters for you, a few more words for you, sorry. So let's read your paragraph there, and since it's your paragraph, I'll ask you to read it, Alicia.
I love bananas because of the sweet taste. It has a soft texture that melts in my mouth. I especially like to make milkshakes with it. Additionally, I can make a fruit bowl with it and it will taste yummy.
Thank you so much. I think you did a fantastic job. Any suggestions? I want one of you to give one positive thing about her paragraph and one thing that she could have changed in her paragraph. So this is where you're giving her feedback on her work. So she got 4 sentences there. Can you identify her thesis statement?
I love
Good. So her thesis statement or her main statement is, I love bananas, and the rest of it, this is part of the sentence, right? The rest of it tells us why she loves it. Good. Do all the sentences give us some information as to why she loves it?
Yes.
The first one, it has a soft texture that melts in my mouth. So she's telling us why she likes it, right? Because it has a soft texture. I especially like to make milkshakes with it. So she tells us how she likes to consume the bananas. And I can make a fruit bowl with it and it will taste yummy. So all of those tells us why she likes bananas. Basically, all of those sentences come back to the sweet taste, the taste and the texture of the bananas, right? So you can do something similar with your pineapples, and you can just do something similar with your apples. Why you love apples? For apples, you have a crunchy taste when you bite into it, right? So in that paragraph where she says it has a soft texture, you can say it has a crunchy. You can say it is crunchy, and when I bite into it, it makes a crux sound or something like that. For pineapples, do you like to sprinkle some salt on it? Yeah. Do you know that some people are allergic to pineapples and they can't eat it? Do you have any allergies? No. So some people are allergic to pineapples because it has an enzyme that, let's just say, corrodes part of your mouth. So you know what corrode means? So do you know, like when you put metal out and it turns rusty and then it starts to fall apart? So corrode means to break down. So sometimes people have an allergic reaction to the enzyme in the pineapples because when they bite into it, the enzymes are released in their mouth, and that's a chemical that irritates their mouth, so it starts to burn and blister their mouth and so forth, or their tongue. So some people can't use it at all. But I'm glad you're not allergic to it. I love pineapples as well, and I love eating it with salt and pepper. Don't tell my grandmother that though. She doesn't want me to eat her pineapples with salt and pepper. Good, so I think we did a good job with this paragraph here. And if we were to write the second paragraph, it will talk about the health benefits of the fruit. Now, you may not always know what the health benefits are, but when you don't know something, what is something you can do? Google. Good, you have Google right at your fingertips, right? You don't have to walk all the way to the library and look at 100 books to find the answers. You simply type in what? What do you type in? Benefits of bananas, or benefits of pineapple, or health benefits of pineapples or apples, right? And you can also think about your social studies or your science class where they talk about the vitamins found in fruits and vegetables. So definitely, what vitamin you may probably get from pineapple? Vitamin what? Which one keeps you healthy? Sometimes your mom makes you drink a pill for that as well.
Vitamin C.
Vitamin C, good, right? It helps you to fight infections and so forth, I think. Good, so citrus fruits are the ones with sour kind of taste to it, like limes and so forth have vitamin C. So when you're writing the next paragraph, let us have some ideas. We're not going to write the entire paragraph here. We're just going to identify 4 things that we would like to include in this paragraph. So we already know the thesis statement will be about health benefits. Sorry if I'm blocking the board. Health benefits. And we said we're going to be looking at the vitamins found in it. Some people say vitamins, same thing. Okay, what is something else we can look for? What other things may it have?
Protein.
Protein. All right. We usually get... So I'm going to put a question mark here because when you do your research, you will find this, right? So I'm not going to say too much on that. But usually you find protein in animal products like cheese and meat and so forth. But you can still research to see if it has protein inside. And what's something else we can talk about? You know, some people say they have some natural things that can help people who got diabetes or high blood pressure or so forth, right? So maybe we can say, we can probably say prevent or help against diseases, right? DISEASES. So we're not sure which diseases yet until we research it. So these are 4 points you can have. We already know which one will be your thesis statement, the health benefits of whatever fruit you're doing, and then your other sentences will now support that this particular fruit has these benefits. It does this, it does that, and all the other fancy things, right? Do you think this is something you can do? Yeah? Okay, so let's recap today's lesson, and each of you will say one thing that you learned about paragraph writing. For those of you joining on the live as well, you may probably be seeing a code on the screen that you can scan, and you'll be able to access this document here, and you can go through in your own time. Yes, let's start with you. You were here first, right? So let's start with you, Azaria. Go ahead.
I learned that paragraphs could have to be similar to each other, has to be coming to the same thing. This like textures of the banana. So it has to be similar to each other.
Good. So the paragraph has to have sentences that are similar, right? Correct. Good. So they must all be related. We can't be here, there, and everywhere. Everything has to be connected. Thank you. Let's have Alicia, and then we're going to come to Tiana, right? What's something you learned today, Tiana? Alicia, sorry.
I learned that sentences must have like a main sentence which explains the whole paragraph, and that the rest of the sentence must follow.
Yes, definitely. So paragraphs must have a main sentence, which is also called a thesis statement, and that's the main thing, right? All right. Finally, Tiana, and then we should be up.
I also learned that paragraphs have thesis or main sentences also.
Thank you so much. So you on the live, thanks for joining, and I will be seeing you on Thursday, where we will continue learning about different English things. So thanks a lot. Have a great day, everyone. Bye.
Good afternoon, boys and girls. Welcome to our session, Critical Math, grade 7. On our previous sessions, we've examined factors, multiples, and today we are continuing with our vocabulary as it relates to critical math. And our topic today is highest common factor, or some persons may know it as greatest common factor. So welcome to our session. For those of you who are looking live, welcome to Critical Math, grade 7. So let's begin. All right. So in our previous sessions, we examined factors, we examined multiples, all right? And we said that factors are any two numbers that you multiply, right? 2 times 3. The result here is 6. So 6 is our multiple, right? And 2 and the number 3. These two are our factors. All right? So a particular number can have more than one factor. All right, so today we will look at highest common factor, or sometimes it is, if you look at other textbooks as well, you may see the term greatest common factor. Okay, so let's go through the paces here. So what I'll do here is that I'll set up a table and you will go through with me here. So here we'll have some numbers. How we're thinking. Greatest common factor. And then we can look at an example. All right. So here we'll have two numbers. We will just examine two numbers. Let me choose my pen. So two numbers. Sorry. Two numbers. All right. What else we need? Factors. How we're thinking. The greatest or the highest. Sorry. Now where do we get this back? Let me use the term highest. For most of us are familiar with highest. And then we look at an example. So how we normally use the highest common factor. All right. So our first two numbers today we're going to choose are 6 and 9. So we have more than one ways in which we can find the factors of 6 and 9, right? So you can think of all the numbers that can multiply to give 6, or all the numbers that can multiply to give 9, and then you write those factors down. Or we can also use what? Remember we said that in our first session that you can express, right, a number as a product of its prime factors, right? In a unique kind of a way. That's a unique way to represent our factors. So for example, 6, if we're thinking in terms of 6, we can say prime factors, right? All right, so 6. So we start off with the smallest prime number, which is 2, right? So we know it's 2 and 3. Any other number will give us 6 here? In terms of prime numbers? Any other two numbers to multiply to give you 6? Come on. All right, now, so we think in terms of prime factors, so we just have 2 and 3. For 9, what are we going to have? 3 and 3. 3 and 3. So then the factors of, so prime, okay, prime factors of 6 would be 2 times 3. Prime factors of 9 would be 3 times 3. Everybody follow? Now, common means, right, something, the same thing that is in the first one is also in the second one. So what is there? 3. So 3 is here and 3 is there. So what are we going to do? We just choose one of them. So here we write our highest common factor here is 3. You follow? Cool. Now in an example. Now why do we use highest common factor or greatest common factor? So we use them when we want to reduce fractions, right? Or terms that are similar in nature. So if I write, for example, remember we started out with our number 6 and 9. So if I express 6 divided by 9, I can reduce that into what we call an equivalent fraction. So when we reduce that fraction, we will have an equivalent fraction, right? So since our highest common factor is 3, how many times 3 can go into 6? 2 times. And how many times 3 can go into 9? 3 times. So in other words, our fraction 6 over 9 has been reduced to 2 over 3 by using the concept highest common factor. Any questions? Are you clear?
Yeah.
All right, let's look at another example. I can draw a line here. So our other two pairs of number, we write 12. Excuse me. 12 and 30. So we're thinking in terms of prime factors, all right? So 12. So let's go. 2. Let's start off with the smallest prime number. 2. 2 times what?
6.
2 times 6 is 12. Good. Then we need to break down that 6. So breaking down 6 will give us
2 and 3.
right? 2 and 3. Anything else? No, we can't use 4 because 4 is not prime. So we're finished at the prime here. So the prime factors of 6 here will give, 12 will give us 2 times 2 times 3. So let me highlight it here. 2, we have 2 and 6. And then 6 is broken down here. It's 2 and 3. So the numbers I'm going to highlight using blue here. These are our factors. 2, 2, and 3. Follow? Good. So try 30. You want to try 30? So 30 is going to give us what? In terms of prime factors. So let's go on a different page. We'll come back to our page our previous page. So let's do a page 30. So we're looking at 30. So let's start off with the smallest prime would give us 2. 2 times what is 30? 15. Wonderful. Good. So let's break down 50 now. Can we use 2 here? No, we can't use 2. So the next number is?
5.
Before you go to 5.
3.
3 times 5. Any other? No. So 30 equals 2 times 3 times 5. So go back to our previous page. So we'll write 30 equals 2 times 3 times 5. Are we clear?
Yeah.
Great. So let's check out the ones that are common. So let's circle them here. So we have a 2 here. We have a 2 here. What else do we have?
3.
Right, so we have a 3 here. And we have a 3 here. Now in this particular case, we'll have, because we have a pair of 2s. So we take the 2. And then we have a pair of 3. So we take the 3. So when we multiply those two, we get 6. So our highest common factor between 12 and 30 would be 6. Great. So in our example now, what we can do here as well is that we can express 12 over 30 as a fraction. And then we can see how, in terms of equivalency, how that works out, right? So we know that 6 is the highest common factor. So 6 can go into 12 how many times?
2.
2 times. How many times 6 will go into 30?
5.
5. So our fraction, which is 12 over 30, has been reduced to 2 over 5 by using the highest common factor concept or the greatest common factor concept. Any questions?
No.
You sure? All right. So I'll give you 2 numbers and you will try for me then. So the next 2 numbers, let's clear here. You'll get the notes, don't worry. All right. So try, let's say 9, 9, and 12. So you're finding the highest common factor. And we're using the prime factorization concept, right? Zaria, what you thinking? You want to start out with 9?
2 and 6
All
will
right.
go into 12.
All right, so you want to, let's start with 9 first. 9, right?
3,
So 9 can be broken down by which two
3.
numbers? 3, great, as well as 3. So 9 equals 3 times 3. Okay? 12 next. Let's try 12. So we start off with the
2,
right smallest prime number. Here we have 2. Next number would be 6, great. So then we can break down 6, right?
yeah.
And 6 will give us 2, followed by number 3. Great. So 12 equals, so the ones in the ends, at the end here, so to speak, all right? These are our prime factors. So it's 2 times 2 times 3. So what do we need to do next? Check to see what is common, or what is the highest common factor here. We have a 3 here, and we have a 3 here. So we take it once, right? So therefore, highest common factor of 9 and 12 is the number 3. Follow? So if you're asked to reduce that fraction, 9 over 12, page. So this is how it's used, 9 over 12. So we want to make equivalent fractions, or we can simplify fractions into their simplest form. Right? So that's a typical way in which the highest common factor is used. So just now we found that 3 is the highest common factor between 9 and 12, right? So when we reduce that, 3 can go into 9 3 times, and 3 can go into 12
4 times.
4 times. So 9 parts out of 12 parts is equivalent to 3 parts out of 4 parts. That's the visual you're having. Any questions? Everybody understand what's happening?
Yeah.
Great. So, two other numbers. 12 and 20. Alicia, you want to go? Right, so we can take this off. 12. 2, right? 2 times what? No. 2 times what will give you 12?
6.
Right. 2 times 6 will give you 12, because remember you're starting out with the smallest prime factor, right? Good. Then we need to break down 6. We're starting out with the smallest because 6 is even, remember? So 2. So 2 times what gives you 6? Great. So our ending values, 2 is a prime number, 3 is a prime number. So these are our factors, right? So 12 equals 2 times 2 times 3. All right? 20. Let's check out 20. Smallest, remember 20 is an even number, right? So the smallest prime factor would be 2. So 2 times what will give us 20? Right? So we need to break down 10. 10 is also even, so we start off with 2. 2 times what will give us 10? 2 times 5. 5 is also a prime factor, right? So therefore, 20 equals 2 times 2 times 5. Wonderful. So let's pick out the common one. So we have a 2 here and a 2 here. And we have another 2 here. And we now have another one here. So in terms of the pair, so we write highest common factor of 12 and 20 is, so we have them in pairs here. So we take a 2 and then we take another 2. So when we multiply those two, we have 4. Wonderful. So how can we reduce then 12 over 20? So 12 over 20. Remember our highest common factor is 4, right? So what will be the result? How many times can 4 go into 12? Or 3, right? What about 20? 5 times. So 12 out of 20, or 12 parts out of 20 parts, right? Is equivalent to 3 parts out of 5 parts. Make sense? Cool. So visually, right? So if you're gonna have this visually, you can do something like this. So you have like a visual representation. So I don't want to divide something in 20 parts. And then you can divide something into 5 parts. Let's see what's happening here. I hope I can get 20 parts here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 16, 17, 18, 19. All right, so this one at the end could be 20 parts. So I need to adjust this a bit. So I'm just giving you like a little visual representation of the parts. The second one, we need to divide it into how many parts? 5? 5. So it's not going to be 1, 2, 3. All right. So don't worry with a little, unevenness there. So we're taking 12, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So up to here we have 12 parts. So we took 12 parts out of the 20 parts. And then we're taking 3 parts out of the 5 parts. Right? So it's almost the same. Don't worry with my little, because I didn't divide the parts, equally. But you see, it's almost kind of similar, right? So 12 parts out of 20 is equivalent to 3 parts out of 5. So this is what we call equivalent fractions. Right? So you see, we're dealing with factors and we end up into the fraction zone, right? Because they're kind of related. All right? Cool? Any questions you have for me? No? Alicia? Not here today? All right. So do you want to try you want to give, anybody want to give me their pair of numbers that you can find your highest common factors for? Any pair of numbers. Come on, give me any pair.
15.
15 and
40.
40. All right, 15 and 40. So let's go. 15. Can we start off with a 2? No. What's the next prime number?
3.
3, right? So 3 times what?
5.
Any other prime?
No.
No. So 15 equals 3 times 5. Great. What about 40? 40 is even. So we start off with a 2. 2 times what?
20.
20. Great. We need to break down 20. It's also even. So it's 2 times 10. Great. So we need to break down 10 a little bit further because it's even as well. 2 times
5.
5. Right, let me see if I can. Never mind. 2 times 5. So 40. 40 equals. What are the factors there? How many 2's?
3.
Right? 2 times 2 times 2 times
5.
times 5. So our HCF, we will shorten it a bit. HCF equals, pair it up.
5.
There's a 5 here, there's a 5 there. So we account for it once. HCF equals 5. Good. So then what is the equivalent fraction then? If I have 15 over 40. What's my equivalent fraction?
3 over 8.
All right, 5 into 15, 3, 5 into 48. Great. Give yourself a star. Great. Anyone else with a pair of numbers? Come on. Who else has a pair of numbers?
6 and 8.
Come on, choose something higher. We already had 6 and so. So choose a higher. Any two other 2 numbers. Come on. Let me hear you. 20 and 40. All right. 20 and 40. So 20. What do we have? 2 times
10.
10. 10 will give us 2 times.
5.
Any other?
No.
No. So 20 equals 2 times 2 times 5. Great. So 40. Let's give some space. It's even, so we'll start off with 2. So it's 2 times
20.
20. Break down 20. 2 times
10.
10. 10 is even again. 2 times
5.
5. 40. Factors. Let's go. 2 times 2 times 2 times.
5.
Right. So let's check out the pairs. We have a 2 here. Now a 2 here. So let me write HCF in red. Equals. So we account for that one pair of 2. And we have another 2 here. Account for it once. And then we have
5.
5. You count here, we account here. Times 5. So let's multiply. 2 2's 4. 4 5's.
20.
Right. So, in terms of equivalence, so 20 over 40 will give us,
1 over 2.
yes. half. Right? Yep. Any questions? So when we have two numbers, now you can find the highest common factor for more than two numbers. In our case today, we've examined two numbers, right? It can be for more than two numbers because sometimes when you're dealing with fractions, you can have more than two fractions, right? At the higher level, for example, you can have 2/6. Well, sorry. You can have, let's say you have 6, 9, and 15. Right? And you may want to know what is the HCF of these two numbers. Of these three numbers actually. So you can have more than two numbers. So it's not only for two numbers, you can have more than two. You can have three numbers, you can have four numbers, many. Alright? So in a case like this, you go through the same pace, right? Same pace. So you examine 6 of all. Alright? So we know it's 2 times 3. Alright? Then we go through 9. And we know 9 would be 3 times 3. And then when we go through 15, start off with 3 times 5. Right? So you would write each factor, prime factor down for each number. 6, 2 times 3. 9 would be 2 times 3. And 15 would be 3 times 5. So then you look for the common among the three numbers. So which number is common there to the three numbers?
3.
Exactly. So we have 3 here, 3 here, and we also have it here. And then again, you account for it once, right? So therefore, HCF of 6, 9, and 15 equals 3. Did you follow?
Yeah.
That's it. Alright, so what I'm going to do as well, I know some of you, you're eager to work out some of the numbers on your own. So you're going to have some larger numbers, and you're going to have more than two numbers, probably 3, 4, 5 numbers. And you'll be asked to find the highest common factor, or in some cases, if you're reading other textbooks, right? You may see the term greatest common factor, all right? So you go through, so you can either use my diagrams that we have here to find your prime factors so that you can write them down very easily, right? So using a diagram is not an issue, right? A diagram tells 1,000 words. And so you can either use the diagrams, or if you think you're getting it faster, you can just write them down very quickly. But make sure that you are writing down your factors correctly and accurately. All right? Any questions? So can you say today that you have reinforced the concept of highest common factors? Great. And notice in our previous session, well, one student had missed that. So in our previous sessions, we were talking about factors, right? Today we continue with factors. We found the highest common factors of a set of numbers. And in our next session, we will examine multiples, right? The lowest common multiple of particular numbers, all right? So thank you for being great students today. And I'll see you in our next session, all right? Thank you. Bye.